Coming up in episode 2, we visit one of the founding Federation worlds. We get to design our own starship, and this ambassador gets his mojo on. Welcome back to episode 2 of our Star Trek Online Let's Play.
We have a diplomatic mission for you. An important Vulcan ambassador is traveling from his homeworld to the monastery at P'Jem. Capturing the ambassador would be a major coup for the Klingons or Orions, so we're assigning you to make sure everything goes smoothly. You are to escort Ambassador Soketh to P'Jem. Please meet him at Vulcan. Once you locate him, speak with him about the transport mission. Do whatever is necessary to keep him safe.
So picking up where we left off, we're taking the very first mission. We get the pop-up from the Admiral giving us diplomatic orders, which is the first story mission for us to do. We could pick up these other missions here, but they will come up later in the story, so we're not going to pick them up now. What's interesting here is there's an option with the pop-up we didn't get as if we talk to the Admiral himself. We have the extra one on the bottom here, how do I find my next mission, sir? That's which leads us on to all the story missions. It explains here, basically just press J and you can get up your story missions. I'm not really sure why that isn't available when the pop-up comes, but well, I don't know, it's just not. You have to actually speak to him to be able to get that. But you can also click on the part here, I'd like to see my mission journal, and that will also pop up the story missions for us. For some reason it defaults to the bottom, which are the newer episodes. The ones we want is actually at the top, the Klingon War. Those are the starter missions. We'll work our way through those as we do our Let's Play. We're obviously starting here with diplomatic orders. So you can skip the mission, you can transwarp directly there, and you can also hail your contacts, so you don't actually have to be right in front of them to be able to turn your mission or to pick up new ones. So pressing I here brings up the inventory, or you can press U, which brings up this page with yourself, your bridge officers and your starship, and you can look at what rewards you've got and change over any pieces of gear that you can. I'm just going to go through this fairly quickly, so I'll speed up time here just while I do the different equipment on the ship and the bridge officers. One thing I would recommend doing is left clicking and dragging the items from your inventory into the slots that they need to go. If you do it via the other methods it can be fine, and also sometimes it can bug and it can think that the items are actually in two places at the same time, and then you can't use the items anymore. You might have seen there that I hit the sort button at the bottom as well. It's just a quick way to get your gear sorted into the relevant pieces together. It just makes life a bit easier for you. So our ship and crew have been upgraded as best as they can with what we have. We've done the engineering, science, tactical consoles, and we've now got bits left in our inventory which we can go onto the replicator and the recycle tab, and we can sell to make space in our inventory. The original pieces that you get with your starship you don't get any credits for if you sell or recycle, so that's something that's normal. Don't worry if you see that. That just means that there's standard issue gear that comes with your ship. The other items that you have you can recycle and you'll get energy credits. If you do recycle it by mistake you can retrieve it by going on to the retrieve tab. I'll just show you here, if you sell one you get 64 energy credits there for that hyper spray, and you click on retrieve tab and the retrieve button at the bottom takes the credits back and gives you your item. That works as long as you are still on the map. If you change to a different map then you can't get that item back, it's gone for good. However, I wouldn't recycle your bits there, I would go and see an NPC and sell them there, because you actually get more energy credits for it. So we'll just wander around here on space dock down to where the NPCs are. I will show you the best place to be able to sell them. So you can see the NPCs here with the different icons above their heads. The one we want is this one here on the right. You can requisition ship equipment. So just click or press F and you get the pop-up here, and you can buy and sell from this particular NPC. If you go into requisition ship weapons, you can see that you can buy beam weapons. They're just common, which is the lowest level white ones that you can get. You can also get torpedoes and mines. If you want to buy them just to try them out and test them, might be in a place to go. But in this case we want to sell, so onto the sell tab, and you can see here we're actually getting 80 now for the hypo spray rather than 64. So we just go through here, just sell all the pieces that we don't want, just cleans our inventory out and gives us the extra credits. So we are now going to look at customizing our starship. So we're just going to go and have a look around at these NPCs here, get some more information and customize our ship. So this is the ship customization screen, where there's also a ridiculous amount of customization you can do on your ship, the same as what it was like with your character. So I'm just dragging the left mouse button around to have a look at this particular template of the ship. You've got other templates here at the bottom. So you've got the Saratoga there, which looks quite nice. Obviously it does say at the bottom the total cost. If it costs Zen, so this one here, the Reliant, is actually a Zen ship, which we don't have enough Zen to be able to buy. But there's plenty of options that you can have which won't cost you anything at all. Zen you can get with real money, or if you save up your processed dilithium, you can transfer that into Zen on the dilithium store. So you don't have to spend any money, but it will take a bit of time for you to be able to build up the Zen. I do like that Reliant skin. That's something I might have to come back and buy. But for now, I think we'll go with the Saratoga, as that one doesn't cost anything. You can also see here in the middle where you can pick the layout of the interior of the ship. So you can say what sort of bridge you'd like. Again, there are ones you can get with Zen, but there's also quite a lot of free ones again that you can pick. Again, lots of customization. And then you have the layout as well, so the corridors inside your ship themselves can be small, medium or large. Once you're happy with that, just press OK. You can also change the windows as well, which is pretty cool. You just zoom in and you get to pick which different type of windows you want. So again, the customization is crazy. And then to add even more customization, you have different skin types which you can put onto your ship. As I go through them here, just adds even more customization, and you can just pick whichever one of those, and then you can also change the colors of those as well. And if that isn't enough customization for you, you'll also have the Advanced tab, where you can pick different pieces from different templates. So you can have, instead of a Miranda saucer section, you can have any one of the other ones of that type of ship. Again, some of them do cost Zen, but the choice you can have is pretty good considering they're free. So you can literally mix and match different pieces of the ship and make the ship that you want. You can also go onto the 3D printing as well, so you can print the actual ship that you make. But once you're happy with the ship that you have, you just apply the changes and your ship is done. You can use the icons here on the right to rotate your ship around if you don't want to drag it with the left mouse button. So hit apply changes and OK, and that's the ship that we have. So we've upgraded all the items for ourselves, for our bridge officers, our ship, and we've customized the ship itself. So it's time to leave the space dock and then go and do this story mission. So we've beamed up from space dock onto our ship that we we customised earlier, which is looking pretty good, if I do say so myself. So we need to go to sector space to go to Vulcan to do this mission. So having a quick look at the space dock. You again, on the bottom right hand side, you can beam to the Academy and you can walk to sector space from there, or you can use the mini map. There's a button at the top left hand side of the mini map which also sends you to the sector space as well. You get the same sort of pop up for that. So this is just the station saying you want to go, so we walk to sector space and away we go.
My friend sacrificed so much to secure peace with the Klingons. I bear the responsibility for the consequences to him and his crew. A thought that troubles me to this day. The hope was that this alliance would last forever. It did not. The Klingons have chosen war. The Federation is doing its utmost to protect its borders and the billions of innocents who call this space home. But I fear that this conflict may be our undoing.
Okay, so voiceover on voiceover again. It's pretty annoying. You can't really listen to anything that's being said with more than one person talking. So here we are, also seeing the sector map again. You can actually see as I drag it around the actual button, which was in the way during the tutorial to be able to view it, actually moves. So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, it's seeing as we've done the tutorial, I'm not sure why it's now giving us the same pop-ups that we had before for the tutorial. It seems a bit silly, but okay. So there are a few things you can actually do with the map here, which it doesn't really explain too well, I feel. As, you can zoom in and out with the mouse wheel, or you've got the scale slider at the very top right hand side. Either or, they both do the same thing. If you ever lose yourself, there's a center on player button so that you can find yourself a lot easier. There's a change instance button where if you want to change map, it's the same map but just a different instance of that map. You can use that to change instance. There is a timer, so it will transfer you automatically if you stay on that screen too long, so just be aware of that. If you are playing with friends as well, it will try to put you in the same instance as them. The galaxy map here as well, you have the alpha, beta, gamma and delta quadrants. You can see, we'll get through all of those as we go through the story. There is a system list as well, so this lists every system in the beta quadrant, which is where we are now. They're all listed alphabetically so you can find them easier. You just double click on it and then it will take you straight there, or you can click into the search bar and type the system name that you're after and find it that way. So those are just another way of helping you to get around. You will find, obviously, there's no Deep Space Nine in that list. That's in a separate quadrant. So when you go into the Alpha quadrant, you will find you've got Deep Space Nine and the wormhole and other iconic locations from the Star Trek universe. And we'll get to see those as the story progresses. So we are now off to Vulcan again, same as what we were doing for our training cruise. So hopefully we can get there this time without any incident. Let's find out what happens. So you can see here I've just activated the astrometrics view. Just having a little play around and having a look to see what that's like. I prefer it without though. You also see we actually arrived at the sun, but not at Vulcan itself, so we just need to go forward a bit until we get that pop up. So you just press F or left click on it, and then we can go into the Vulcan system. We also have a little bit of information here, just giving a little bit of detail and background about Vulcan itself, just to give just a bit of background really. I think every system has one of these. You can use the little arrow to make it disappear if you don't want to see it. So we have a pop-up here from Flores that says, Captain, we have arrived at the Vulcan system. I took the liberty of contacting the Ambassador's aide when we arrived. T'Pel says the Ambassador has certain arrangements that he prefers when travelling. She would like to go over them with you. Would you like to put her on the main view screen? And our response is just on screen.
Greetings. Thank you for agreeing to escort the Ambassador to Pajem. Ambassador Soketh is currently attending a ritual to honor the end of the Kalrek holiday. He will be done soon, but the Ambassador is hesitant to use transporter technology. His bias against the transporters is not logical, but I have come to accept it.
Just click continue here.
I believe that Soketh would be much more comfortable traveling by shuttlecraft. I have received clearance for you to land near the Ambassador's location. I look forward to meeting you in person.
And again, it's just continue here. So getting a bit of a McCoy vibe, where he doesn't tend to like using the transporters. Sounds like this Ambassador is also the same. So let's jump on board the shuttle and go get him. Okay, so another pop-up from Flores, not voiced. It says, we are ready to land on Vulcan, sir. When you are ready to make our final approach, let me know. Continue. So it's quite a roomy shuttlecraft. Looks a lot like the ones from Deep Space Nine. Yeah, looks a lot like the ones from Deep Space Nine. Displays as well. Transporter pad, which we can't use. We can pause the zone here as well. I'm not sure why we would want to, but we can. Let's just land the shuttle and see what happens.
Starfleet shuttlecraft. This is Vulcan Orbital Control. You are cleared to land at the requested coordinates. Welcome to Vulcan. Please enjoy your stay.
Ready? The Vulcan telling us to enjoy our stay on Vulcan. Seems a little illogical. Okay, so we have another pop-up Flores, also not voiced, says, Captain, the Ambassador and his aide are waiting for you at the temple at the top of this rise. You can speak to them there and find out if the Ambassador needs anything else from us before we depart for Pajem. And the option we have is continue. The scenery here, I think, very much what you would expect. Very desert-like. Shuttle definitely looks a little bit smaller on the outside than it was on the inside. We've definitely had a lot more room. It's kind of TARDIS-like, it seems. It's also a standard shuttle as well, not the ones that you get from Deep Space Nine. It's not what I was expecting from the exterior, but you know, it's okay. We'll work with it. So we are getting a pop-up here on the left-hand side saying, Captain, Ambassador Soketh's aide T'Pel has requested to meet with her before speaking to the Ambassador. Sounds like we have problems already. It's never straightforward. Starfleet, it's never straightforward. Perhaps the way we like it. I mean, it wouldn't be much fun if it was always plain sailing, would it? Pretty high up here it seems, so my Bajoran character doesn't seem to mind. Seems alright. Lots of places to sit. And there's a little gong from the original series. It's a nice little addition there. Look at that, looks nice. A little arch there. Some sort of spire at the end. Wow, look at the statues in the background, that's awesome. That's really, really cool. A few monks hanging around here. See if we can find the Ambassador's aide and crack in with this mission. The Ambassador says, welcome to Vulcan. We have the option to continue. So the aide here says, Captain, I regret to inform you that we have come to an impasse in completing your mission. Allow me to explain. As you know, P'Jem is sacred to the Vulcan people and access to it is strictly prohibited. Ordinarily, this would not present any difficulty, but Savin, the leader of the order that maintains the monastery, has chosen this moment to illogically refuse to grant Ambassador Soketh permission to meet with the abbot at P'Jem. This is most abnormal. So the option we have is, can this trip wait until Savin changes his mind? So the aide says here, the ambassador has considered going to the council to request that they overrule Savin, but the process will take time that he simply does not have. If the ambassador is unable to complete his journey to P'Jem now, he will have to delay it until after the trade conference at Corridon is complete, and that could take weeks. The option we have is, I wonder why Savin won't grant the ambassador permission. So the reply is, the ambassador, I'm afraid, has spent too much time off-world. I have seen it change him. His interactions with other species have grown easier over the years, but our own people have become more challenging for him to deal with. Perhaps you could speak to Savin. I know he has a great deal of respect for Starfleet, and you might have an easier time than he has in convincing him to grant the ambassador's request. And the option that we have is, let me speak to Savin. See if we can find the Savin fellow. He's right here. High Priest Savin. Let's talk to him, see what he says.
Peace and long life.
Now this guy's voiced, so let's talk him for me.
Do you seek knowledge of the ancestors?
Oh, lots of options here. First one, Soketh says you won't permit him to visit P'Jem.
Soketh accuses me of abandoning logic, but he is the one refusing to explain his reasons for wanting to go to P'Jem. The planet is sacred. Our ancestors walked those paths. They found understanding and serenity in its quiet. When I am at P'Jem, I feel more at peace than any place else in the galaxy. P'Jem has been touched by outside influences in the past. The Federation is at war. Now more than any other time, we must protect this refuge.
The only option is to go back.
Do you seek knowledge of the ancestors?
Next option is, why do the Vulcans restrict access to P'Jem?
Many years ago, P'Jem was used for political purposes. Technology used to spy on the Andorians was hidden beneath the sacred sanctuary. It should never have happened. Buildings that had stood for 12 centuries were destroyed because we allowed politics and war in a place where there should only be logic and contemplative thought. When the monastery was rebuilt, we pledged to keep it safe from the cares of the galaxy. Only those who seek peace may enter.
Again, it's just back.
Do you seek knowledge of the ancestors?
Next option is, the Vulcan people have monasteries?
Even a people who reject emotion require peace and contemplation. We are a spiritual people. Our rituals guide us throughout our lives. Vulcans who choose a life of study and isolation, as the monks at P'Jem have done, help us maintain our connection with our ancestors. The monk's study of Sirach's words in the Kirshara give us all a greater understanding of who we are and who we should strive to be.
Again, the familiar back button.
Do you seek knowledge of the ancestors?
Next option is, tell me more about Sirach.
Centuries ago, the Vulcans were creatures of emotion. We fought one another in a series of wars that devastated our planet. Our species was on the brink of annihilation. Sirach taught us to embrace peace and to put aside our emotions in favor of logic. Sirach ushered in a time of awakening on Vulcan. His writings, the Kirshara, shaped all that we are. Without Sirach, the Vulcans you know would not exist.
So it's back again.
Do you seek knowledge of the ancestors?
Don't you trust Ambassador Soketh?
I neither trust him nor distrust the ambassador. I simply do not understand him. He will not reveal his reasons for wishing to speak to the abbot, and has refused a mind meld with me. Normally I could respect his privacy, but other things I have heard trouble me.
And back again to hear the same speech.
Knowledge of
Starting
the
to get a little annoying,
ancestors?
actually. Tell me more about what you've heard.
Sokath has spent more and more time away from Vulcan in recent years, and seems ill at ease in what was once his home. T'Pella admits he has changed in the past few months. He spends hours closeted in his study, and does not share meals with his staff as he used to. T'Pella says that the stress of the war with the Klingon Empire is taking its toll. She hopes the peace of P'Jem will restore him.
And the trusty back button again.
Do you seek knowledge of the ancestors?
So the next option is, what if the abbot agrees to speak to Sokath via subspace?
The monks do not use any unnecessary technology. Even replicators are not permitted on P'Jem. There is a communications array available to the monks for emergencies. Sokath's request does not qualify.
And the familiar back button again.
Do you seek knowledge of the ancestors?
And the last option, is there any way I can persuade you to allow Sokath to visit P'Jem?
I will permit it if you will pledge to me, on your honor as a Starfleet officer, that you will protect P'Jem from harm. Sokath says his reasons for wanting to speak to the abbot are private. I will accept that, but only if you are with him. I know I can trust Starfleet. Please, protect P'Jem from any who would violate its sanctity.
So if I continue here, Vulcans have come a long way, it seems, trusting more in Starfleet than their own people. Well, let's go talk to the ambassador and see what he says.
Welcome to Vulcan.
Ah, he's voiced very nice.
Do you have any questions?
First option here, tell me about P'Jem.
P'Jem is a small world near Andoria. It is sacred to our people. There have been Vulcans on P'Jem for centuries. In 2152, the ancient buildings that housed our monastery were destroyed by the Andorians.
The Andorians? But they are also part of the Federation.
It was a failing in our logic that led to conflict with the Andorians. We have corrected our error. After the Federation was founded, a group of Andorians, Vulcans, and humans rebuilt the monastery as a symbol of peaceful coexistence and cooperation. Since then, a group of monks has lived there. They study the ideals of Sirach.
Trusty back button again.
Do you have any questions?
What business do you have at P'Jem?
My business is my own. If you must know more, I require a meeting with the abbot. He will not use subspace communications. So if I am to receive his counsel, I need to meet with him directly.
Well, he sounds a bit testy, doesn't he?
Do you have any questions?
We have two options we can pick from here. I think we'll go with, I've spoken to Savin, why doesn't he trust you?
How should I know? He is a small man with small concerns. Thankfully, he has listened to reason, and our journey won't be delayed any longer. I am ready to leave now. Is the shuttle prepared for departure?
The options, let's go. So the ambassador here is telling T'Pel to attend to the matter that we discussed earlier. I'm leaving with the captain to board the shuttle. Peace and long life. To replace, yes, ambassador. Have a safe journey. Live long and prosper. Lead on, captain. My business here has concluded. I think it might be interesting to come back with Gigantor or with Iota, as the engineering and science alternates that I have for Starfleet, and maybe see what the other options do. So I may look into that in a future, maybe do another bonus episode where I come through and have a look at any of the other choices that are possible and see how that changes the story. But for now, let's get this cranky ambassador on board the shuttlecraft and then go on over to P'Jem and hopefully complete our mission without any more hitches.
Starfleet shuttlecraft, we have logged your flight trajectory, and you are cleared for departure. Live long and prosper.
See, that's a much more Vulcan appropriate message. Okay, so here we are on board the shuttlecraft. I guess we just returned to the bridge. Feels a bit unnecessary, an extra screen for no apparent reason, but alright. Another pop-up from Flores. Ambassador Sokath has retired to his quarters. Captain, we can leave the system whenever you like. We have the choice of depart system or not yet, so we'll depart.
inventory has a replicator that will allow you to buy and sell items. Press I to open your inventory. Click on Replicator to access your store. You can purchase common items from the replicator. You can sell items by using Recycle, and retrieve sold items with Retrieve.
Okay, so I did sort of cover this earlier, but the replicator aspect of it, I didn't. So you can get a certain amount of items from your replicator, which cost energy credits. As long as you have enough energy credits, you can purchase any of the ones here. There are some items that you cannot buy from the replicator. You'll have to figure out other means of being able to get them. There is a duty officer system, which is sort of like a mini game, which you can get items and things from there, and I'll go over that once we get to it, but we're not at a level yet to be able to unlock it. So we'll just go to Pajam, and I'll talk about that a bit more once we are at a high enough level to be able to unlock it. See the information here? A small M-class planet, Pajam, was originally settled by Vulcan monks more than 3,000 years ago. Though the original monastery was destroyed during the Vulcan-Andorian conflicts in the 22nd century, the buildings were rebuilt by a coalition of humans, Andorians and Vulcans after the founding of the United Federation of Planets. Oh, that is a nice sweeping view of the ship as it walks in. Pop-up from Flores saying, "Sir, I'm picking up an unusual energy reading in this system. We should scan the system before we take the ambassador to the surface." And the option we have is agreed, sensors on maximum. Yeah, I did read that right, sensors on maximum. So we're now going to scan the area.
This is Captain Katak to all Klingon vessels. Target their warp drive. There will be no escaping our vengeance this time.
I had to say we had to try and do the rest of the mission without any hitches, didn't I? Alright, let's take out these Klingons. They are not having the ambassador on my watch. Broadsiding this one here just to get his shields down, and then whack him with a torpedo and watch his health just melt away. That's 2 down, 1 to go. Okay, so we're having a couple of pop-ups here. So we've got one on the left saying, "Sir, direct hit on the Klingon vessel, she's losing power." And the pop-up in front of us from Flores is, "Captain, we are being held by the Klingons." And on screen is our response.
Cease your fire, Captain! Perhaps today is a day for words. My fellow captains were blinded by our vengeance toward the shapeshifter aboard your vessel. They have died with honor. But if I am to die this day, then I would prefer to regale the halls of Stovokor with the tale of that foul creature's death.
Oh, shapeshifter. The option is shapeshifter.
Ha! So even the mighty Federation has been fooled by the beast. Your guest from Vulcan is not as he or she seems, Captain. They are an Undine. They put on a false face and try to control us, but we Klingons know better. We will hunt them down until the last of these honorless dogs dies screaming.
And Undine, have you any proof?
Proof? Pah! Allow me to stick a blade in its belly while I look it in the eye while it dies. That should be proof enough, even for Starfleet.
Oh, he's a funny man. Well, I'll take that into consideration.
If you wish the honor of the kill yourself, then it is yours to have. So long as the Undine dies, I will meet my death with eyes wide open and victory in my heart. I await your decision. Close hailing frequencies.
Okay, so the options we have are consult with your bridge officers. Okay, so let's consult. Okay, so pop up from Zava this time saying, Captain, sensor scans indicate the Klingon vessel's warp drive, shields and weapon systems are all offline. I don't even think they have impost power. Whatever you decide to do, they can't really do much about it. Okay, so we have three options here. All of them say discuss the Undine. One is science, one is tactical, and one is engineering. And seeing as we are a tactical profession, we will go with that one. So we get a pop-up from Flores saying the Undine are physically superior to humans and consider anyone from our dimension to be an inferior life form. Their vessels are more than a match for the Borg. They represent a great threat to Starfleet. And the option we have is, where is Ambassador Soketh now? So Flores comes back, the Ambassador is still in his quarters. Sir, I recommend sending a security detail to detain the Ambassador until we are certain of his identity. A reply is a sound precaution. Agreed. Oh, okay, so we now can also do the science and engineering ones as well. So the science one is a picture of Travell. It still says Flores, I'm not really sure why. So maybe just a little bug there. But she says the Undine are a species that was first encountered by the crew of the USS Voyager. They catalogued them as species 8472. As the Klingon commander indicated, they are indeed capable of changing shape. Additionally, they possess telepathic abilities that aid them in infiltrating cultures of other species. So Ambassador Soketh could be one, is our reply. And she comes back, I'm afraid that it is a conclusion that we cannot rule out, Captain. I could conduct a test to determine if the Ambassador is who he claims to be. And the option we have is, unfortunately, that would violate his ambassadorial immunity. That pesky ambassadorial immunity. Okay, so we have the final one for engineering. And that brings up Zava. And she says the Undine came from a dimension known as fluidic space. They use quantum singularities to move into ours. I'm afraid much of their technology still remains a mystery to us, but one thing is certain, it is not to be underestimated. So why use a Starfleet vessel, is our reply. And Zava replies, that I can't say, Captain. But as the Undine are virtually unknown in the Beta Quadrant, my guess is that they are aiming to conceal their presence here. And our choice is and the Klingons. What the Klingons are saying could be true, Captain. If the Undine are in the Beta Quadrant, it might just be that the Klingons sniffed them out before us. In this case, the enemy of my enemy, ... we say, is my friend. But he's very quick to turn on the Ambassador. Anyway, the choice we have here is call the Ambassador to the bridge and open a channel to the Klingon vessel. Let's settle this.
My patience is growing thin, Captain. If you lack the stomach to slay the beast aboard your vessel, then any Klingon here would gladly do it for you. I'd hate for you to stain that pretty Starfleet uniform with Undine blood.
Very generous, but unnecessary.
Then the beast is slain? Makka! Very good. Perhaps you've the heart of a warrior after all. Let me look upon our enemy, and tonight we will dine together as warriors and drink to the honored dead.
I present Ambassador Soketh.
Captain, I take my meditations very seriously. Why have I been summoned to the bridge?
Accused. Meet your accuser.
Alive? You're a fool, Captain! Strike now before it's too late!
Not without proof, Katak.
You want proof? Then lower your shields and allow me to beam over. Once the Undine's blood coats my blade, you'll see it for what it truly is. A Grint hound in Tark's clothing.
So quick to just want to butcher. The choice is, Ambassador, allow me to explain.
There's no need, Captain. The situation is not difficult to unravel. My concern lies in the logic of you entertaining this Klingon's meritless claim.
Meritless, but not unreasonable.
A most illogical conclusion. Allow us to examine the facts, Captain. You have a crippled Klingon vessel, whose captain has made unsubstantiated claims that I am an Undine, a species that is known to both the Federation and the Klingon Empire as a considerable threat.
thus a reasonable consideration.
Potentially, but only if a great many other factors were to be true. Is it not much more likely that the Klingons have, in the face of defeat, instead sought to exploit Starfleet's desire for peaceful resolutions to conflict in order to repair their vessel and renew their assault?
Status of the Klingon vessel. So it's Flores who says weapons inoperable, warp drive is still offline. Wait, I'm detecting an energy surge. They're engaging their cloaking device. Red alert, lock weapons.
A true warrior strikes without mercy, Captain. I only hope to teach you this lesson personally before the Undine does. We may not be able to best your vessel, but a Klingon knows many roads to victory. The beast may have evaded my vengeance for now, but I can still ruin its plans here at P'Jem.
Oh, are we fooled by the Klingons? Fire! Flores says, I've lost them on sensors, Captain. They're gone. We have scanned the area. So Flores continues, Captain, I'm detecting energy signatures on P'Jem's surface. They're in the vicinity of the monastery. They appear to be transporter signals. Life signs indicate they are Klingon. I'm taking an away team down. So I'll reply. And the ambassador says, Captain, shall I accompany you? And we say, no, it's too dangerous.
A wise precaution. Though I admit I am eager to see my people safe, I will await word until the monastery is secured. And Captain, let not my journey here be for naught.
Away team to transporter room 1. So we seem to have the pop-up here again to be able to scan the area. And it's basically replaying the last few pop-ups that we had. Captain's taken energy signature, and we're saying we're going to take an away team down. And again,
a wise precaution.
Just,
though I admit I am eager to see my people.
Just the same dialogue. That's a weird bug. But we can now beam down, so we can pick our away team, and away we go. So we have another pop-up from Flores. Captain, we need to secure the area and then make our way towards the monastery, which is located at the top of the hill. So we continue. I'm reading multiple Klingon patrols between us and the main building, sir. Recommend we proceed with caution. So we have this, stay alert, and we will find the monks. We have a weird camera angle there. Just, nice trees everywhere though. I hear some birds and such like in the background. You can see why it's such a peaceful place. Okay, so we are getting another pop-up here saying if you hit an enemy from the back or the sides, you gain a flanking bonus to your damage. Try attacking from a different direction than your friends or away team. So that's again what we had in the tutorial. If you watched the bonus video, you would have already know that. I'm not really sure why they're giving that again. It's perhaps more of a tutorial for a mission. In case you skipped it, perhaps. Oh, a Klingon. He's chosen to completely ignore us, which is a bit weird, but alright, let's have him. Some shiny loot here. Do you like me some shiny loot? Seems the monk doesn't want to talk to us, so let's carry on up the hill. And those Klingons were kind enough to drop us some more loot as well. I think I will go through maybe at the end and just equip anything new after we got the rewards from this mission. It's a very nice bit of Vulcan architecture there as well. Well balanced, as a Vulcan mine should be. So getting another pop-up here. When an enemy is exposed and you have an exploit attack, the icon will change to alert you, and if executed you will do bonus damage. So that's again just something extra that we picked up in the tutorial with our other characters. It'll be interesting again to see whether we get those pop-ups when we do this mission with our characters. So more shiny loot here as well. There is a lot of steps, it seems, at this monastery, which to draw a parallel to Earth temples. I think, well, certainly ones in the movies. They all seem to have hordes and hordes of steps to be able to get to the top as part of endurance. The monk here says it's fortunate that you have arrived. The Klingons seek an Undine infiltrator and are surrounding the monastery in their search. I will attend the wounded. You go up the hill and talk to the abbot. If you try talking to him again, he just says, please go to the monastery entrance and seek the abbot. More shinies over here as well. Ooh. All of these items we have picked up are consumables, which could make it a little bit easier for us if we use them ourselves or our bridge officers. But I mean, in all honesty, you don't really need to. You can just sell them and get the energy credits, and you can use those energy credits later to buy different gear or any other items which are on the exchange. And some of the very rare items are understandably very, very high priced on the exchange, so you will need to save for a while for them. Some of you may have noticed that although I am carrying the same looking weapon as I had before, the secondary skill that I have for it is actually different. And you'll find many weapons like that. They look the same, but they don't have the same skills. So it's just something to keep an eye on. We're going to do a mini game here as we're scanning for the deuterium. And you just need to use the arrow keys to move the red wavy line to match up with the blue wavy line. And doing so will give you a bonus to the amount of items that you receive. If you don't want to play the mini game, you can just press F. You will get less loot if you do so. So it is a good idea to just do them. It doesn't take very long to do. Once you've done a few, you'll pick it up pretty quickly. But definitely use the arrow keys. Using the mouse, you're going to really struggle to be able to do that one. There's more loot over here. More energy credits for us later when we sell them. Brilliant. It's also worth noting as well there are other types of mini games. Again, I would highly recommend that you use the arrow keys with all of them. It will make it much easier. We're actually stuck on an invisible wall here, so I guess we will not explore and just go where it wants us to go. So we have two pop-ups here. The first one is missions will at times pause to give you a chance to rest or heal, and the second is you have a waiting comm message from your ship in your comm action bar. When you are ready to continue, answer the incoming message. So the message is from Travell. Sir, we've received an alert from Vulcan. T'Pel says she must speak to you immediately. I'll patch her through to your tricorder.
I have terrible news. Vulcan security forces have discovered the body of Ambassador Soket. They have determined that he was killed by a phaser blast at short range. His remains were discovered in a stasis chamber hidden in a cavern beneath the Ambassador's residence. The ambassador on your ship, the one that I have been working for, is an imposter.
Ah, so he was an imposter after all.
You need to be very careful. This imposter was able to fool Soketh's closest associates for months. He is crafty and very patient. Now that he has been discovered, he will be dangerous.
So just continue here for the option. And we have a pop-up from Flores. Captain, security teams have reached Ambassador Soketh's quarters, but he's gone. They're searching the ship, but... Sir, unauthorized use of transport is detected. The Vulcan government is requesting that the imposter Soketh be detained and returned to Vulcan for questioning. Sir, whoever used the transporter erased the logs, but I have a feeling that the imposter is on the planet's surface. I recommend we locate him immediately. We'll find him.
Such emotion on your face. I see now my deception has been exposed. Pity. Capturing the abbot so we could replace him as well would have been beneficial. But we are strong. We will prevail. You are weak, and the weak shall perish.
Okay, so confirmed he was and is an Undine. Consistency there though, yeah, it's a little off for me. It was doing so well up to that point as well. Well, I'll save that thought for the review at the end. Okay, so Sir Travell this time, recommend we return to the Exeter and search for the Undine ship. We need to find the Undine and take it back to Starfleet. And the option to beam up or not now, so we'll go with beam up. So Sir Flores this time, Captain, there's an Undine ship on intercept course. We also have another pop-up here saying press tab to switch targets to the incoming torpedoes to destroy them with your ship's weapons. So that's fine, we can do that. And we'll just continue for the option on here. And she continues, says, Sir, the Exeter doesn't have the armaments to handle an Undine attack. Starfleet reports that it is sending ships to assist us, but they are about 60 seconds out. We have to hold out until the reinforcements get here. Captain, if we target the torpedoes, we might have a chance. And our option is to continue. Again, we're having a lot of pop-ups all at once. Flores says, Sir, I recommend transferring all power to the shields and focusing our weapons fire on the Undine plasma torpedoes. The second pop-up says, some missions require you to play defensively. Try routing power to your shields and targeting the Undine plasma torpedoes with your phasers until help arrives. When you're trying to do all that as well, you've also got the pop-up for scanning the Verticom article, which is just off to the right of the screen, as well as dealing with the Undine who are attacking you as well. So, I mean, there's a lot to be going on here all at once. Be spread just a little bit thinner, I think, give you a bit more time just to be able to read things properly and not have to worry about combat and reading and all your skills and everything else all at once. So here comes the cavalry. I did adjust my power settings to shields, but now with everybody else here, I can now switch it back to weapons to help destroy this ship. I guess we is putting into practice the things that we did learn during the tutorial. So it's giving us an opportunity to do so under fire. Perhaps this more what this mission is for. It's just getting used to the systems more so than anything else. Almost like an extended tutorial, if you will. It certainly feels more that way, but it is definitely more story-centric, opposed to it being centralised really at the academy. Although, in saying that, we could do a bit more with the training crews. But I suppose if you did skip the tutorial, this would be helpful to you. But then what's the point of having the tutorial? This Undine ship certainly can take a beating. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ships, including us, all whaling on it. We've been going for some time already. It's just gone to 60% now. Not even halfway done. This is going to take a little while. You could actually get a pop-up in the middle of the screen there, a little fly-in from the bottom. Saying that we did receive an accolade, and that accolade was for healing our ship for 5,000 damage. So those accolades, you can view the different accolades by pressing J, I believe it is, and going across to the tab accolades and having a look at the different ones there. They do give you passive bonuses, each one slightly different, but they're doing them all, they do add up and they are worth having. So I would definitely recommend doing them if you can. You will pick up a lot of them as you go, just from playing the standard story missions. But it's worth having a look, just to see which ones you haven't got. You can easily set your speed to maximum impulse or full stop by pressing R. It's also auto run as well, something they don't tell you in the tutorial. So we got another accolade there for destroying the dreadnought. We had to scan the debris, and we now have a message from Zava saying we're downloading the data now, Captain. And we have an incoming message as well. We now have a pop-up from Flores telling us that we also have an incoming message as well. Oh dear.
This is Captain LaForge of the USS Challenger. Glad to see we made it here in time to lend you a hand. Perhaps you'll return the favor someday. LaForge out.
Okay, nice to see another character from the shows. Obviously, Geordie LaForge. So, who knows, maybe we will see him again in the future. Okay, so we have a pop-up from Zava saying we've recovered the final data transmissions from the Undine vessel, as well as samples of the organic material that was used to create the ship. We need to get all of this back to Starfleet intelligence. They may be able to decrypt the message and tell us more. We have depart system, or not now, so we will depart. We probably should have stayed and got that Verteron particle and another mini game. We'll need the materials for those for crafting and for the DOF system later, but we'll hopefully pick up some more as we go.
The ambassador was an Undine? I'm afraid their infiltration of the Federation goes much deeper than we realized. Who knows what kind of havoc they could create?
This was an automatic pop-up. I didn't click anything to be able to do that, so we can just continue here and we get the rewards.
Congratulations, Lieutenant.
And that is the end of that episode. So I will go through the review and give my thoughts and feelings on this episode. Okay, so I will leave running in the background me changing the gear that we've got from the rewards. So I'll be changing myself, my bridge officers, and any gear that we have to improve on the Exeter. I'll go back to our space dock and sell whatever I have that's not needed, and then I'll come back to Pajam. So whilst that's going on, I'll go over the good, the bad, and the improvements I think would make it a little bit better. So let's start with the good. The space combat again is excellent. It's still very fun. I think it will be for a really long time. It really is a strong point of the game, I feel, and I am always happy to do more ship combat in these missions, so I'll be looking forward to doing some more of that. The story itself, it's mostly solid. I mean, the mission has been revamped several times and updated several times over the course of the game's history, so it should really be quite good. And I think for the most part it does a good job. It does feel a bit like a tutorial still, but on the whole I think it's not bad. I think the ship customization again is really good. There's just so much customization here that you can do. You could spend a really long time going through making different ships, making your characters, and you can also adjust your bridge officers as well. You can rename them, you can change their uniforms, you can change just about everything about them. Not quite as in depth as you can for yourself, but you have a lot of options there that you can change. So those, yeah, really strong point of the game. Okay, so moving on to the bad. There is a couple of minor spelling errors that we picked up on as I was going through. Nothing major, just the odd spelling mistake here and there. You know, we're all human, it does happen, but you would think that, again, this mission being such an old one, that would have been fixed. We've had some pretty annoying pop-ups that conflict as well. We had Leonard Nimoy talking, and we had the tutorial talking over each other, so you definitely couldn't understand either one of them, which, again, you know, that's something that should really not be an issue. You know, having one followed by the other, you know, it's not hard really to do or to fix. So yeah, just minor little issues there. The only other thing really that I have a more of a gripe with than anything else is when you have Travell and Flores talking to you when you're at the monastery itself, and they're both talking to you as if they are on the ship when they are part of your landing party and they're there right there next to you. So there, that's a little bit weird for me. It's, yeah, strange, definitely strange. The only other sort of minor gripe I suppose I have is with just the story consistency. When we actually first got to Pajem, and we had the Klingons who were attacking us, we had the captain who obviously cloaked, and we had the ambassador offering to beam down with us. So he seemed to have gotten over his fear pretty quickly, which is a little bit of a perhaps a strange giveaway. It could be explained a little bit by, you know, saying it's part of the story. It's just a case of a character who is trying to beam down to the planet in earnest, and, you know, broke character a little bit. And again, the ambassador decided that he was going to go to the transporter room and beam down to Pajem. That completely blows his cover. I mean, he at that point he's not even aware that we're on to him, and so that was a bit strange. But that also it didn't flow right for me there either, because we were talking to Flores, I think it was, and she was explaining about that they were sending security teams to the ambassador's quarters and that he beamed down, but they couldn't trace where he had beamed to. And then we had further messages going on after that as well, and then once that conversation had then finished, we then saw the ambassador beam in right in front of us. So it was a little bit sort of, the timing wasn't right for it. You know, it would have been fine if the ambassador had beamed in around the corner, for instance, and then walked round, but again, he's blown his cover completely, and he doesn't know that we're onto him, so it's a bit strange that he would do that. Okay, so moving on to the improvements. I have kind of touched on already with the ambassador, so I won't really go over that again, so I've just explained it. But, with obviously the spelling errors is, you know, a very easy fix to do. Fixing the pop-ups, again, something I've kind of touched on, so I won't hover on that too much. The voiceover as well, again, you know, when Leonard Nimoy's talking and the tutorial is going at the same time. You know, that's something that really needs to be fixed. Again, when you're in combat as well, it's not great to have pop-up messages coming up when you're in the thick of things. At least for me personally, I can't read and concentrate on what's being said, particularly when it's a limited amount of time when it's on screen and then it disappears when I'm dealing with combat stuff as well. It's just maybe it's just my personal preference, but other than that, I mean, it's not a bad episode as such. So yeah, it's just minor things that would definitely, in my opinion, make it that much better. But what do you think? Let me know. Should there be another improvement that I missed? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you all in the next episode.